ask Ms. Sullivan a question. Primarily, you talk about legislating from the grave and the difficulty in which you see that imposing upon future generations. Then I have a question, what exactly is the Constitution? If it's not a tool of government, it sets a framework for the government. And if you have such disdain for legislating from the grave, why heed the Constitution at all? And why do you have so much reverence for the Constitution if this is something that's an imposition?
Part of your question first. Why do I have so much respect for our Constitution? Because I have profound admiration, respect, and awe for that group of people who, not at two levels, in the United States Constitution and here in New Hampshire, who put together a framework of government that has lasted for over 200 years. That we do not change government here at the point of a gun. That we do it with the ballot box. That we have profound disagreements. And as you can tell, we have profound disagreements over many issues. Yet in November, we will walk to the ballot box and we will vote. And I hope that we change a lot of our legislature. And Representative Weiler hopes that we keep the majority of the Syrian legislature today. And that is the beauty of our Constitution. I love our Constitution. I love our freedoms. I love our liberties. My parents were both World War II veterans, both children of immigrants who came to this country because, in Ireland, people had no jobs, they had no education. Their parents, victims of a famine, came here because they could do so much and have so much opportunity. That's why I have so much respect for our Constitution. I think that's why we all do. And that's one of the reasons I'm so opposed to this amendment, because it should be, in my opinion, a Constitution is a broad statement of principles. So it's governing principles about freedom, about liberty, about the lack of government interference in my life and in your life, which is why I bet you're here tonight, because you don't want government interfering with your life. I don't want them interfering in my life either. I am a small government person. I also believe that policy should be left up to our legislature. We have a representative government, and we should trust our legislature. Sometimes they'll disappoint us, and I've been profoundly disappointed at times in this legislature, but I think we should trust them with policy, and this is a policy decision. So I believe our Constitution should be a broad statement of principles and a broad framework of government, but it should be left up to the legislature that's elected by the people every 2 years to fill in the blanks, to set the policy, to set the tax policy, set the revenue structure, decide where the money's going. That should be done every 2 years by the people who are elected by us to do that.
I'd like to speak on that a little bit because you use the terms freedom and liberty, and you're really using them, I think, very incorrectly. The nature of government, if you look throughout the course of history, is to oppress and oppose people and to do things that may end up being in opposition to the people that are being ruled. Now, the question here is about an income tax, and should this be part of our Constitution or not, but it really runs deeper than that. What we're talking about is handing over more power to government or keeping power and wealth at the level of the people so that there's a prevention of the government taking that wealth. Now, we have to ask ourselves, what is this wealth being used for? At this point in time, it may be used for something good. There might be some good idea, but we must be very cautious of when we hand over power to government, because at some point, somebody might use it for something evil. Now, my background, I run for state representative in Exeter because I believe that anything peaceful and voluntary is good. Now, government, you brought up the point, we're being forced to do this amendment at gunpoint. Well, that's how government does things. Government does things through force. Yes, you did. Now, I'd like to give a little example because I always give an anecdote, and she brought up World War II, and the world wars are a westernized example of when governments get out of hand. But About the year 1400, in the Middle East, there was a guy that came to power named Timur. And what this fellow did was he conquered vast regions of the Middle East and he killed 17 million people. Now, in the time of the sword, that's quite a feat to kill 17 million people. The regional government in Tehran asked Timur, why did you do this? Or, you know, why did you get away with this? And his response was, the people let me. So don't let the government take power and wealth from you. It's your power and your wealth. The individual is the one who can govern themselves. Be very careful when you feed people that say, we want to take this wealth, we want to take this power, and use it for good. It can fall apart very quickly. That's why Representative Weiler is here supporting that we prevent government from expanding itself and taking wealth from people.
Thank you, thank you.
I just have to say, I don't recall ever saying anything about this being passed at gunpoint, but maybe I missed something.
Sir, people want to know who you are. What's your name? You can say it for me.
Sir, I'm Chris Suprock. I'm running for state rep in Exeter, and I believe the government should be limited.
Chris Suprock.
The individual is the person that should have control of their own destiny.
So what party, are you running a party or libertarian, or what's your party affiliation, please?
I'm a Republican.
Thank you.
Anyway, and one other thing in answer to what you said, I guess I just have a lot more faith in the American system and the American people.